So they feel as though this is just a prime example of why this party is not very good and failing when it comes to, really staying in power. So
This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The disclaimer is down in the description box. Welcome to the think tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and picture common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. Today, we're here to talk about something that we covered in Breaking News Live, something that's ongoing, something that's not going anywhere. The young Republicans being outed for being racist.
oh.
Now, I'm here once again with the Honorable Dion Powell, who is affiliated with many Republican Party memberships and groups and knows a little bit more on the inside of what's happening. He showed what a lot of the Black Republicans are going to do on that live and what their statements are. It was actually a pretty incredible episode where there was a lot of education, even on my end, where I had to sit and listen and shut up for once. I'm going to let Dion introduce himself and we're going to dive right in. Dion?
Hi, family. I'm Dion Powell, and I am a district leader in the Bronx Conservative Party here in New York. And I also have another hat, which is I am the city hub leader of Blexit, New York chapter, powered by Turning Point USA. And being part of that and being a registered conservative of New York State, not a Republican, we do sometimes caucus, collaborate with the Republican Party. Now, when it comes to New York Young Republicans, there are two branches here. The New York State Young Republicans, which is the ones that you're hearing about in the news, confused often with the New York City Young Republicans, which has Gavin Wax, which is their former president, who's now part of the Trump administration, who's the whistleblower for this information. So, having said that, the New York City
who
Young
has who has the whistleblower? Because you said that it was going to
the
kind
New
of
York
confusing.
City Young Republicans. So basically, it's the New York Young Republicans of New York City, which is New York Young Republicans Club. They have Gavin Wax, the former president who's now part of the Trump administration. He was very key in getting Trump to come to the Bronx and some other matters, like we know. So he's the whistleblower that aired out the group texts, and some people argue there's an affidavit going around where he actually kind of strong-armed somebody to get access to do just that. The New York State Young Republicans are the ones whose names you see in the media. So there's a tiff between those two factions, as it were. Now, the ones that I deal with are from the Black and Hispanic part of both wings, the state and the city. Understand? Because they have like, new subsects. Like I used to be the chair of the New York State Young Democrats Caucus of Color, if you believe that. So that's how I get privy to certain things. And yes, we all know in the world racism exists. And yes, in the Republican Party, you will appreciate, respect, and whatever label that you actually just literally see it across the room. I enter a room sometimes like, wow, I get that aura, energy, vibe, whatever you want to label it from that person over there. I'm not messing with that person. Just like a rattlesnake, I can already tell what time it is. And I'm gonna be over here with the cool people, the pure, innocent, loving, brought the red carpet for Dion White guilt. How's that sound? So that's what's going on. More to come. But the updated news for that is that the New York State Young Republicans have had their charter revoked because you see political parties, just like the Young Democrats, they have to get the okay to be the youth wing from the larger body, Robert's Rules of Order, by law, which is the New York State Republican Party, to exist. So they revoked their charter. So now officially the New York State Young Republicans no longer exist. And we'll see what comes of that. Some people are saying, Dion, wow, this is an opportunity for New York City Young Republicans to step up and take it over, or whatever the case may be. Or there may be more blowback against Gavin Wax and people associated with him, the new administration, Stefano of the young Republicans that are here in the city. We'll see. But the thing is, President Trump is in a very precarious position, as the word salad would say, because to my understanding, people want him to fire Gavin Wax for this whole debacle. But then there are other people saying, no, this guy's a hero and champion. He's a whistleblower. This is going to create great reform within the Republican Party for this kind of mindset to dissipate. But again, just like the New York State Young Democrats, there was a lot of immaturity. There were a lot of people that were dealing with child situations, groper, or whatever you want to call those words we can't say because of educational purposes. So they too have a lot of dirt if you research that on the internet with the New York State Young Democrats and that kind of stuff. But yes, our governor, Kathy Hochul's up for re-election. She's latching on to this. She's running with this, and hopefully that will help her get reelected next year. And I told you so from the whole world. But again, I'll end by saying I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered member of the Conservative Party of New York State. However, there are so many people, and I want to give a shout out to all the people that supported our spontaneous breaking moves live earlier in the week, that are left a blue team that the Republican Party and others have to reform their racist stigmas and ways, or whatever the case may be, to embrace them through outreach that Democrats are very good at. And this hopefully what good could come from it will cause some kind of reform to do just that. Man.
Well, that was education and a lot. I do believe, based on the size of the No Kings protest, that people are not leaving the blue team, as you put it. I think that the amount of people that are showing up at town halls in the ruby red states are just showing that there's less support for Trump than there's been for any president in, as they say, modern history. But I digress on that. Let us get back to the point. We have cabinet members, we have people of power that were part of the young Republicans. They call themselves young, but they were all adults, even though J.D. Vance, our vice president, was like, oh, they're just a bunch of kids being kids. They're boys being boys. 40-year-old men are not boys, in my personal opinion. So J.D. Vance's "let's boys being boys" response shows that he's complicit, in my opinion, with boys being boys. That was his thing. They're just boys being boys. We should ignore that. That is being complicit by definition. With that being said, there's a cabinet member. I am not sure how to pronounce his name, but I'm sure you're going to help me. His name is Michael Bartius.
Yes, yes, that guy.
What is his name?
I've probably been in the room with that guy. So they're feeling as though this is just a prime example of why this party is not very good and failing when it comes to, really staying in power. So, but I guess that's how you pronounce it. But if you go on X and you search for Gavin Wax and you go into latest, you'll see how much anti-Semitism is being spewed around that guy because he's the most hated man in the whole country in the Republican Party, and they want to, make sure he gets kicked out and that kind of stuff for such
Oh
a
my God! You
issue.
admitted that you let them know that we really are racist. We hate you. I get it. It's
Well, that's
expected.
not
As
the
a matter of
point.
fact, I can
That's not that.
100% guarantee. I
That's
can.
not really. That's partially correct, Leo.
Oh, it's true.
Remember, like, okay, the other truth that you have to add on to that truth is that a lot of people feel as though America First and some other factions in MAGA fraction that there's a lot of rhinos and I'm sure that concept and some other treacheries of other people connected
Republicans
with
in name
interests.
only, Rhino.
Right. So they feel as though this is just a prime example of why this party is not very good and failing when it comes to, really staying in power. So,
Let me go on by saying Michael Bartis is on Trump's cabinet. J.D. Vance has defended the statements made in this room. Michael Bartis is not being fired. Trump refused to fire him, but they want to fire the man that exposed it. That shows that these racist feelings are all the way at the top, not just boys being boys, but cabinet members who have said these things are in these rooms are being protected while the person that said this is happening is the enemy number one. So they want to protect the people that are a part of it to the best of their abilities. They refuse to fire them, but they want to attack the people that said, look, it's true, we're racist. There's racism in this party. So the president and vice president are complicit in watermelon eating, gas chamber, burning people in gas chamber. No, these are literal quotes. You're acting like these are not literal quotes.
No, I'm acting like here we go with the scare tactics. Go ahead.
What are you talking about? Scare? Oh wow! Oh no!
The
I'm trying to
triggering
scare people,
language, the
but
inflammatory language.
I'm quoting what they said. It's
No,
inflammatory. Yes, what they said was inflammatory. I agree.
but the president didn't say it. But okay, go ahead.
No, but he's covered. But he's not going to. He's good with the people that did though. He didn't say it, but it's all right that it happened
Well, there you
by
go.
him, by JD Vance. It's okay that it happened. They didn't say it, but they're covering for the people that did and want to punish the person that exploited it, that let it leak. That's where we're at. The DEI is gone. Affirmative action's gone. The Voters' Rights Act is being struck away. We have people calling people watermelon eating, like, and the president and vice president's covering for that. That's where we are at. No response.
Well, again, this goes back to America First and how they believe there's certain Republicans who are not America First and are traitors. So Gavin Wax is now exemplifying that. And then you have the anti-Semitic comments as well because he's Jewish. I don't want to bring that sensitive subject up. So again, the president is a precarious position because they're like, wow, this guy's a liability. If he's willing to do this to our own people, imagine what he could be doing to us, even you, Mr. President. He's got to go. But then Trump was like, well, and I'm just actually theorizing, if I fire this guy, this actually probably would co-sign everything that he whistleblowed, and that was flashback on me. So that's why some people I know behind the scenes are like, well, we knew what Gavin Wax was about, and that these things have happened in the past in other areas. For me, I'll just say this publicly. I've had no issue with Gavin Wax other than him kicking out one of our Conservative Party members that was aged out, who loves me, by the way, Mark Garrett. And he's always been, open to supporting the Black Caucus, the Hispanic Caucus, Brexit. Anytime there's a ticketed event, go on in, Dion, comped on through. Much love for that. You know what I mean? So, hey, man. And then being a black man, that's I made my statement. A lot of black conservatives. Oh yeah, shout out to the Black Conservative Federation, Brexit, Pierre Wilson, our senior director. They're starting to speak up now. They're all that on top Uncle Tom labels and yes, of course, no, they're making their statements. Yes, this is wrong. We denounce. However, for me, the staffers. They're staffers. That means all that stuff that's internally can affect policy and performance when engaging people of color, like deflecting to Governor Kathy Hochul, who said those black children in the Bronx are all computers. Well, she affects education policy for those black children. That's dangerous. That Kathy Hochul, I gotta get stimulus check, y'all, in the black church. Don't spend it on that malt liquor, y'all. That's dangerous when you have those kind of things exposed. So you can see the correlation. My issue, because I'm a former staffer from the New York State Assembly as a meets liaison for elected official here in the Bronx. That's why it's a problem. And the Democrats are guilty as well because they deflected what's going on in Virginia's attorney general's race with their statements of saying that, yes, we would like to kill Republicans and their children, something like that. Vote for Winsome Sears, by the way, for governor, Virginia.
Okay. A lot of stuff just happened in what you just said. The most important thing being that Trump is not directly firing the Jewish man who exposed that
Jewish
the young Republicans were talking about putting people in gas chambers because he's afraid of the political splashback that will affect him from the Jewish community. But the Republicans all gathering together, wanting him ousted, shows that the Republicans really, how they really feel. They want to get rid of the Jewish guy who got upset because the Republicans are talking about gas chambers. That's where the Republican Party stands. They want to get rid of the Jewish guy who's upset and outed people talking about burning people in gas chambers. That is where the party stands. And that was out of your mouth just now. I didn't even know the information. Thank you for that.
That's why it's good to have people like me that are in this realm that are black, so that way we can actually, and that's the reformation in the Republican Party. Well, I'm not a Republican, but I'm saying in this realm of the conservative movement, the right side of the fence, And yes, because I've been vocal behind the scenes in certain issues, but I can't do but so much. But then again, I have people in the Black Conservative Federation that's a part of the Republican Party, people of Lexus that's a part of the Republican Party that have support now, and more new people that are being registered in the Republican Party, thanks to leaders like me across the country with this voter education engagement and things of that nature.
So you're fighting within, and I'm fighting without, but you at least acknowledge the racism is there.
In
Once
both
again,
parties. And
oh,
also people are
absolutely,
dark, and
absolutely.
also
But
dark fundamentally.
right now, the one attacking blacks is the
But
Republicans.
you see the deal, for me, racism, because I agree exists, but me, the racism I really detest is the racism that actually destroys lives.
Like
And again,
DEI being taken away, like
no,
affirmative action being taken
no,
away, like the voters' rights being taken
no,
away.
no, this is Dion now. That's probably what you need me to say, but I'm not. Kathy Hochul, again,
I'm
the
just pointing it
governor
out.
of New York, the staffers, the racism from the staffers that's implemented that destroy Black
You're
lives.
saying,
Kathy
but listen to
Hochul,
what you
the
said
governor
about
of New York
Kathy
State,
was she
destroys
said
Black
one thing.
lives.
What you said about Kathy was she did think she said things, but she still did things for black people, not did things to
No.
take away from black people. That's what you said.
I said Kathy Hochul, I'm paraphrasing, is a staffer, just like the young Republican guys that are fired are staffers and they implement policy and that kind of stuff. But when you say the poor black children of Bronx don't know what a computer is, and you're the governor of a state and you control the Department of Education of that state, that shows you the correlation from the words and the action. She needs children in the Bronx in her mind to be that way for her to be in power. That's the correlation. She can go into a black church and get defended by black ministers and saying, "Hey, I'm issuing out these stimulus checks, black people, but don't go to the liquor store and waste your money on it." I'm paraphrasing for education purposes, but that's the danger and the racism on the blue team and the right team that actually hurts black people and destroys their lives. Now, racism, just BSing in the chat and blah 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 blah. Black people are guilty of that too. Okay, every race, every culture, creed, and religion has a
You
right to
sound like
actually
JD
demand.
Vance. You
I
sound
am
like
Jimmy
JD Vance.
Vance.
Well,
Man.
in this political climate, the president and vice president are defending people who want to put people in gas chambers and see them burn, who laugh at watermelon people.
Oh,
That's
God.
what the president and vice president are doing as they strip away the Voters' Rights Act, as they stripped away DEI, as affirmative action have disappeared. This is the administration, the white supremacist regime that we currently reside under. Anyway, if you're enjoying the content, like, share, subscribe, become part of the critical thinking community. As Dion likes to say, we are the news, you are the news. Become part of the community. Let's get together and try and figure some of this out. And I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist in the Democratic Party. What I am saying is the Republican Party are implementing policies that directly affect black people and impact us in a
And
negative
so the
way
Democrats.
right now in the biggest ways, stripping away the civil rights acts. It's unbelievable. A lot of people didn't think that Project 2025 can come to life and that black people could be pushed back 70 years, but it's happening in real time. Dion, I'm about to sign out. I know you got something to say.
Friends, hopefully on our next episode, you too will see the point as these breaking news will happen and how racism on both sides is dangerous when you're an elected official, a staffer in that capacity. The end.
Can't argue with any of that. Racism is dangerous, especially to a people who are in a disadvantage trying to defend themselves. We have what could be called a handicap.
Oh God.
That's what it is. When you're down, even in golf, when you're down, it's a handicap, right? Anyway, this is Leo and Dion signing out.
God.